Dear viewers, Namaskar. Welcome to this edition of the News Bulletin. In the headlines today, Honorable Union Steel Minister Mr. Ramchandra Prasad Singh inaugurates Conference of Ministers of Mines and Industries from States and Ministry of Steel. Intensive coal fogging operation launched by Public Health Department of Rourkela Steel Plant.
Soojini Award function organized at Refractories Department. State-of-art diagnostic facilities at IPG and Super Specialty Hospital of Rourkela Steel Plant brings comfort for aging heart patient.
Surajni Award function organized at Calcination Plant 2.
Soojini Award function organized at Raw Material Handling Plant. Program on Preventive Vigilance held at SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant.
SAIL RSP signs a contract with Messrs. Arvind and VVSF Limited, Ahmedabad for construction of treatment system. More than 50 employees covered under SWAM, a safety initiative of SAIL RSP.
Surajni program organized at Steel Melting Shop 2. Annual prize distribution function held at Ispat English Medium School, Sector 22 of RSP.
Surajni program organized at Oxygen Plant. Award distribution function held at Ispat English Medium School, Sector 20 of RSP.
Now the news in detail. Honorable Union Steel Minister Shri Ramchandra Prasad Singh inaugurated the Conference of Ministers of Mines and Industries from States and Ministry of Steel at Konark on 25th February 2022. Notably, Ministry of Steel, Government of India is hosting the two-day conference with the objective of better coordination between the state and central governments and to offer an opportunity of presentation and interaction on matters related to mining leases, environment clearances, forest clearances of ongoing and new mining projects. India's vision of 300 MT steel production by 2030 and the PLI scheme for specialty steel will be discussed threadbare. Mr. Fagan Singh Kulaste, Honorable Minister of State for Steel and Rural Development, Government of India, Mr. Prafulla Malik, Honorable Minister of Works, Steel and Mines, Government of Odisha, Mr. Rajvardhan Singh Dattigaon, Honorable Cabinet Minister, Industry Policy and Investment Promotion, Government of Madhya Pradesh and many other important persons from various states like Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, etc. and industry stalwarts were present in the inaugural function. Earlier on 24th February, after arriving at Bhubaneswar, the Honorable Steel Minister met Naveen Patnaik, Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, and discussed about the growth of steel sector in the state. He also discussed about the expansion of RSP, which will create economic and employment opportunities in the state. The Union Steel Minister presented the Honorable CM a framed collage of photographs depicting the close association of the legendary Biju Patnaik with Rourkela Steel Plant. The Honorable CM in turn presented Mr. Singh a jersey of Hockey India. With the objective of containing the spread of mosquito-borne diseases in the steel township and peripheral slum areas, an intensive fogging operation was launched by Public Health Unit of Town Engineering Department on 23rd February 2022. Dr. Deepa Lavangre, Deputy CMO, Public Health, flagged off the first set of fogging vehicles at the Public Health Unit premises in Sector 5. Present on the occasion were other officials of the department. It may be mentioned that RSP has adopted coal fogging for the first time over the earlier conventional thermal fogging system. Coal fogging uses water as the solvent, which is cost-effective, safe, has longer residual effect, possesses the ability to reduce carbon footprints and environment-friendly. Cold fogging generates larger size microns. The greater air suspension of the particles helps in killing more mosquitoes and can be applied in almost all locations including drains and bushes without any adverse effect. Besides, cold fogging is much more cost effective than thermal fogging as it used water in the place of diesel. Cold fogging will help in the substantial savings of rupees 10 lakhs per annum. 4 vehicles designated for the purpose will be operational for 100 days. They will be deployed every day in different sectors as per schedule. Out of 4, 1 is exclusively devoted for slums in the township. It is worth mentioning here that RSP is continuously making initiatives to contain the spread of mosquito-borne diseases such as dengue, chikungunya and malaria in the Steel Township.
A program on Surajni Creativity scheme was organized at RNC Lab on 23rd February. Mr. R.K. Patra, CGM SMS1, presided over the meeting and handed over the awards to the winners of the scheme for their valuable suggestions. Present on the occasion were Mr. P.K. Pedapuri, GM Refractories, Mr. B.K. Behra, AGM IED, and other officers and employees of the department. In all, 46 suggestions were awarded, of which 36 have already been implemented. Cash award to the tune of rupees 9,200 have been credited in the accounts of the recipients. One-time benefit accrued from the implemented suggestions is rupees 1.03 crore and the recurring benefit is around rupees 1.15 crore. About 100 new suggestions were generated during the Mela. Mr. Behra briefed the gathering about the status of Soojini in the plant and department in particular. Mr. D.C. Nayak, Senior Manager Refractories, welcomed the gathering and Mr. L.K. Nayak, Assistant Manager Refractories, coordinated the event. Mr. A. Bhoi, Senior Manager Refractories, proposed the vote of thanks. Mrs. Kunti Devi, a 72-year-old lady, was brought to the OPD of the IPG and Super Specialty Hospital of SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant, in a wheelchair. She was having severe breathing problems and complications for the last 6 months during routine activities. The patient was immediately attended by Dr. Baryon Swai, super specialist in cardiothoracic and vascular surgery, who conducted echocardiography. The patient, who was suffering from thyroid glands, high blood pressure, obesity and neuropathy, on examination was found to have leakage from a heart valve and that had reduced the pumping capacity of the heart. She was treated with appropriate medical therapy that improved her breathing. In the next follow-up routine checkup, the lady on the wheelchair was seen walking without support. The lady as well as her family members have expressed their thankfulness to the doctor and supporting staff of SSH for the specialized treatment. The Super Specialty Hospital is a boon for the region in providing specialized treatment. It is worth mentioning here that the new Ispat Postgraduate Institute and Super Specialty Hospital of Rourkela is providing outdoor treatment facility in the specialized streams of cardiology, neurology, nephrology. The specialist doctors of the SSH along with the doctors from Ispat General Hospital are running the facilities from 9 am to 1 pm daily excepting holidays.
A program on Surajni Creativity scheme was organized at Calcination Plant 2 on 23rd February. Mr. B. Nag, GM Calcination Plant 2, presided over the meeting and handed over the awards to the winners of the scheme for their valuable suggestions. Present on the occasion were Mr. G. S. Rao, DGM Calcination Plant 2, Mr. B. K. Behra, AGM IED, and other officers and employees of the department. In all, 80 suggestions were awarded, of which 22 have already been implemented. Cash award to the tune of rupees 4,350 have been credited in the accounts of the recipients. One-time benefit accrued from the implemented suggestions is rupees 7 lakhs and the recurring benefit is around rupees 15.02 lakhs. Approximately 100 new suggestions were generated during the Mela. Mr. Behera briefed the gathering about the status of Soojini in the plant and department in particular. Mr. S. Suman, Senior Manager, Calcination Plant 2, welcomed the gathering and coordinated the event, while Mr. B. Nahak, Senior Manager, Calcination Plant 2, proposed the vote of thanks.
A program on Surajni Creativity scheme was organized at Sanskar Udyan of Raw Material Handling Plant of SAIL Rockland Steel Plant on 22nd February. Mr. S. Roy Chaudhary, CGM, RMHP, presided over the meeting and handed over the awards to the winners of the scheme for their valuable suggestions. Present on the occasion were Mr. J. Singh, GM, RMHP, Mr. B. K. Behera, AGM, IED, and other officers and employees of the department. In all, 129 suggestions were awarded, of which 24 have already been implemented. Cash awards to the tune of Rs 4,450 have been credited in the accounts of the recipients. One-time benefit accrued from the implemented suggestions is Rs 13.1 lakhs. Several intangible benefits obtained are spillage and demurrage control, reduction in belt snatching, and improved safety. More than 500 new suggestions were generated during the Mela. Mr. Behera briefed the gathering about the status of Soojini in the plant and department in particular. At the outset, Mr. J. Singh, GM, RMHP, welcomed the gathering, while Mr. H. N. Yadav, Manager, RMHP, proposed the vote of thanks and coordinated the event. A two-day-long program on preventive vigilance awareness was held at HRD Center on 18th and 19th February. Mr. S. Tripathi, CGM, MM Purchase, presided over the concluding session. Mr. H. Pati, GM, HRD, and Mr. V. K. Yadav, GM Vigilance, were also present on the occasion. In all, 24 participants from different departments of RSP attended the program. The program commenced with the administering of Vigilance Pledge. On the first day of the program, the participants were made acquainted with the conceptual framework of Vigilance Department, the various tools of preventive vigilance including audit mechanisms and PCP 2020 through short film on preventive vigilance, case studies and general lecture methodology. On the second day, inputs were provided on CDA rules, standing orders, RTI Act, supplemented with group discussions, case studies and group work presentation. The sessions were facilitated by Mr. V. K. Yadav, GM Vigilance, Mr. Robin Kumar, DGM Personal, Mr. J. P. Shukla, DGM Vigilance, Mr. A. K. Biswal, AGM Vigilance, and Mr. Harmohan Raut, Senior Manager, MM Purchase. Mr. L. Marandi, Manager HRD, coordinated the program.
A contract was signed between SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant and Messrs. Arvind and Vissel Limited, Ahmedabad on 18 February 2022 for construction of treatment system number 1 under ZLD, Zero Liquid Discharge Scheme at Rourkela Steel Plant. The contract also includes operation and maintenance of the system for 5 years. Mr. A.K. Pradhan, ED Project represented RSP, while Messrs. Arvind and Vissel Limited, Ahmedabad was presented by Mr. Dhaka Rajan, Head Business Development, in the signing of the contract that was held at the Projects Conference Hall. Mr. P.K. Sahu, CGM Projects Commercial, Mr. I. Rajan, CGM Environment and Utility, Mr. Rakesh Jain, Zonal Manager, AEL, Mr. A. Patel, F&A Head, AEL, and many senior officers of RSP were present on the occasion. This treatment system number 1 is to be set up at an expenditure of Rs 139 crores, will treat 1800 cum of waste water per hour, and the same will be recycled into the makeup water system of RSP for reutilization. It is worth mentioning here that Rourkela Steel Plant is aiming at becoming a zero liquid discharge plant in the near future by gainfully reutilizing its used water. The treatment system number 1 will play a major role in achieving this objective. By taking up this project, RSP has once again exhibited its commitment for a sustainable environment and production of green steel. More than 50 employees have been covered under SWAYAM, a safety initiative undertaken by HRDC and Safety Engineering Department of SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant, in the month of February. The main objective of this initiative is to strengthen the safety culture within the organization by bringing about attitudinal change for achieving zero accident. The program commenced with safety pledge followed by the course content. The technical inputs covered safety strategy for total safety culture at RSP, risk and hazards in steel industry, statutory provisions on safety, and a film on safety. To bring about the attitudinal change and change in mindset, sessions were conducted on your thoughts drive actions, behavioral based safety and its process, ABC analysis, prepare and prevent, don't repair and repent. The session on fire safety, areas under radar, highlighted the highly hazardous areas in the plant and different firefighting techniques to handle any emergency. Under session Anubhav, learning was facilitated through experience sharing and case studies. A fun quiz competition program was held for better recapitalization and internalization. The sessions were conducted by the expert faculty from Safety Engineering Department and Fire Services Department of RSP. The program was coordinated by Mr. B.K. Pari, Senior Manager, and Ms. Anu Purna Behra, Manager, HRD.
A program on Surajni Creativity scheme was organized at Steel Melting Shop 2 of SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant on 18th February. Mr. T.K. Krishna Kumar, GM SMS2, presided over the meeting and handed over the awards to the winners of the scheme for their valuable suggestions. Present on the occasion were Mr. S.S. Panda, GM SMS2, Mr. M.S. Mangar, GM IED, and other officers and employees of the department. In all, 135 suggestions were awarded, of which 40 have already been implemented. Cash award to the tune of Rs 6,400 have been credited in the accounts of the recipients. One-time benefit accrued from the implemented suggestions is Rs 38.82 lakhs and the recurring benefit is Rs 74.9 lakhs. Around 250 new suggestions were generated during the Mela. Mr. M.S. Mangar briefed the gathering about the status of Surajni in the plant and department in particular. Mr. Prashant Kumar Nayak, Manager, SMS2, coordinated the event. An annual prize distribution function was held at Ispat English Medium School of Sector 22 on 17th February 2022. Mr. P.K. Das, GM in charge Town Services, was the chief guest, while Mr. M.K. Agarwal, GM TS, was the guest of honor of the program. Present on the occasion were Dr. B. Kar, Principal IEMS Sector 20, other teachers, staff and students of the school. Addressing the gathering, Mr. P.K. Das congratulated the winners of the competitions and encouraged them to give the best in both academics as well as co-curricular activities for overall development. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. M.K. Agarwal commended the performance of the students in the competitions and urged all to keep up the name of the school. The dignitaries presented the prizes of various competitions held online and offline during the pandemic. The different competitions organized for students were in general knowledge, yoga, shloka chanting, story writing, spell bee, art, mono acting, debate, elocution, essay writing, news reading, picture composition, caption writing, best out of waste, clay molding and song. At the outset, Mr. S. N. Panda, Headmaster IEMS Sector 22, welcomed the gathering, while Ms. Bharti Das, teacher, IEMS Sector 22, coordinated the function.
A program on Surajni Creativity scheme was organized at Oxygen Plant of SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant on 17th February. Mr. I. Rajan, CGM Utilities, presided over the meeting and handed over the awards to the winners of the scheme for their valuable suggestions. Present on the occasion were Mr. S. S. Saini, GM Oxygen Plant, Mr. M. S. Mangar, GM IED, and other officers and employees of the department. In all, 158 suggestions were awarded on the occasion, of which 108 have already been implemented. Cash award to the tune of Rs 25,200 have been credited in the account of the recipients. One-time benefit accrued from the implemented suggestions is Rs 26.99 lakhs and the recurring benefit is Rs 2.15 lakhs. More than 160 new suggestions were generated during the Mela. Mr. M. S. Mangar briefed the gathering about the status of the Surajni in the plant and department in particular. Mr. P. K. Das, Senior Manager, Oxygen Plant, coordinated the event. An award distribution function was held at the renovated auditorium of Ispat English Medium School of Sector 20 on 18th February 2022. Mr. P. K. Das, GM in charge Town Services, was the chief guest, while Mr. M. K. Agarwal, GM TS, was the guest of honour. Present on the occasion were Dr. Banamalikar, Principal IEMS Sector 20, Mrs. Sushrita Das, Headmistress IEMS Junior Section Sector 18, other teachers, staff and students of the school. Addressing the gathering, Mr. P. K. Das encouraged the students to actively participate in extracurricular activities and strike a balance amongst the curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. M. K. Agarwal congratulated the winners and appreciated the all-out efforts of the staff and school for conducting various student engagement activities. The dignitaries handed over the prizes of various competitions held online and offline during the pandemic period. The different competitions organized for students of class 6 to 11 were recitation, news reading, elocution, solo song, poster making, video making, act of kindness among the students. The guests also gave away the general proficiency prizes to the toppers of ICSE and ISC 2021 batch. At the outset, Dr. Kar welcomed the gathering and presented a brief about the activities of the school, while Mr. U.C. Patnaik, Senior Manager Education, proposed a formal vote of thanks. The function was anchored by Mrs. Seema Victor, Senior Master, and Mrs. Sai Smriti, teacher of the school. That's all in this edition of Rourkela News. Namaskar.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.